the biggest thing right now in India which is happening is for renewable shifting. So
Okay.
most of the tenders, like Solar Energy Corporation has been one of the leaders in this area. They are the ones who uh, created all the buzz with solar by taking out some of the risk for individual solar project developers by providing financial or credit worthy offtake agreements. So they are the ones who are leading this area right now.
Okay. Because I also see a lot of people that we also talk about, or a general janta, I would say,
Yeah.
right? People keep saying batteries exist everywhere. There are a lot of talks that's happening, but the deployment, when they actually want to tell the world, or key, has that been put up? Has that been many cases, or we are in process of getting these deployments done
So we are in
for energy
process
storage
of getting
specifically?
these deployments done. The problem was, according to just recently, I just Googled and I got some data which suggested that we have had tenders worth almost 80 gigawatt hour released between 2021 to 2025.
Five, okay, in last 5 years. Okay.
Last 5 years, out of which only around 40 gigawatt hour of projects have actually been awarded. And most of these projects are coupled with renewables,
Okay.
and most of the times the renewable projects need 12 or 18 months kind of a lead time for the land procurement and other things.
Sure.
So since the storage projects are integrated with that, we have not yet actually had many of these projects deployed. So far less than 1 gigawatt hour or maybe even around 500 megawatt hour is a deployment total in India in terms of the operational projects. But we are expecting that in next 12 months we'll have maybe around 20 to 30 gigawatt hour if all the projects get implemented. And that's where there is some uncertainty right now in the market, that are these all projects going to come up, because we have started with this reverse auction. The policymakers are now completely addicted to the reverse auction, where their view is that if there are commercially sound companies bidding for lower cost projects, why should we say no to it? But ultimately the challenge is that many of these projects, if there is some uncertainty on the supply side, on the pricing, or something else happens, may get just scrapped because they could be financially unviable.
It's
So
more on the quality that we want to push now.
we need to definitely focus, because now suddenly, like, we have started seeing the kind of pricing for storage projects is actually really it's hard to imagine how
So
people
what
are
are
going
those
to make any
prices?
money.
What are those prices that we are getting right
So we are now again looking at sub 3 rupee per kilowatt hour kind of a per unit of energy being transmitted from storage. People are bidding for that, whereas
now?
based on most of the same calculation, that needs to be at least 50% more. Now the challenge what is happening is people are assuming that taking certain trend, and these are mainly sort of management consultants or financial consultants who are advising many of the new entrants in the market, where they are just looking at a trend for last 3-4 years and taking the 10% year on year or 12% year on year reduction, and just assuming that okay, in 18 months they are going to get another 12% reduction,
Ah,
whereas practically it may happen the prices may go up 10%.
true.
So
It can, yeah.
without understanding that, it is going to be difficult, or people are looking for just looking for batteries which will, manufacturers are saying that they could give double the life, so they are assuming that on a per unit delivered from the battery over the life they can reduce the cost, without having any guarantee of those batteries performing in those real life operating conditions on ground. Because what challenge happens is that there is so much learning which you get by doing and operating assets. Unfortunately, in India we have lacked that. In India we do not have even two companies who have 100 megawatt hour operating experience of energy storage.
Wow.
In my previous company, we had got to almost around 3-4 gigawatt hour of operations of energy storage, but it took us almost around 12 to 13 years to get to that stage. Now we have multiple companies whose first project is at gigawatt hour scale,
Yes.
and they do not have people who actually understand how
Understand.
to operate. So there are going to be some pain points in the industry, unfortunately. But let's hope uh, we don't have too many issues like what happened with the two-wheeler industry. That is a nightmare right now for me, because having spent 10 years in trying to build the industry and try to convince everyone that this needs to be done. The biggest risk I tell people is not if we get 10 gigawatt hour or 20 gigawatt hour project. If we have some accidents which happen because of short-sightedness of any developer, it could affect
Even a
entire
smallest
industry.
one.
Yeah, you just imagine what happened with the two-wheeler fires, right? Which had a 2, 3, 4 kilowatt hour batteries.
Yes. Yes.
How much noise, how much scare it, panic it created in the entire auto industry.
Yes.
And here we are talking about individual projects of hundreds of megawatt hour or individual containers of 4, 5 megawatt hour instead of 4 kilowatt hour. So 1,000 times bigger systems being deployed by people without any credentials. So when we are talking now as a Net Zero Energy Transition Association to many of the government agencies, we are trying to actually request all the government agencies, both at central as well as state level, to make sure that they are stepping up the enforcement capabilities on the ground level, so that we are not just leaving it to a chance. Because if you leave it to a chance, then it is just a question of when, not if. And we
Sure.
need to be
We need
careful
to be
about
careful.
that. So again, to all the industry participants who are listening to this, again, I'm very bullish about the sector. The opportunities are tremendous, but we need to respect energy storage as a technology. It is a huge amount of energy cramped in a very small area, and we need to make sure that we are on top of the safety as a safety first approach. It cannot be just one of the 10 things which just tick mark you are doing. You need to learn from latest changes which are happening on the safety regulations around the world and adopt it. And in fact, in case of India, there may be certain differences in terms of the temperature, in terms of humidity, in terms of the
Yes.
dust level, in terms of some of the flooding which happens during monsoons. You cannot take those as a afterthought, right? People say, oh, who would have thought that it would flood? No, everyone would know, right? We have
There's
all
always a
the
chance.
memes going around with people now buying boats in
Yeah.
cities, Mumbai, Pune,
True.
Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, be it, everything gets flooded, right? So when you're looking at where you are locating, you need to start thinking about all these factors, and you cannot just say, oh, I didn't anticipate these issues.